Today I'm going to do a video of the biggest NBA draft steals of the 2010s. This is a follow-up video to the 2010 biggest NBA draft bust of the 2010s, which was my last video. So if you haven't seen that, please go check it out. Starting off with the 2010 NBA draft, we got Paul George, who was picked with the 10th overall pick by the Pacers and was in MVP conversations last year with OKC. And going to the 2010 NBA draft, he was predicted to go between 8th to 11th. It was being compared to Scottie Pippen, which is a really good comparison in retrospect because both of them were really great defenders and share a lot of similarities. Honorable mentions go to Hassan Whiteside, who was the 33rd pick and is a great defender. Let's get it. Next up, we got 2011. And before we start, I just have to say that this is a draft of steals with Klay Thompson, who is one of the greatest shooters of all time, Kawhi Leonard, who is an MVP caliber player, who was a two-time DPOI, Nikola Vucevic, who was an all-star, Tobias Harris, who is an all-star caliber player, Jimmy Butler, who was a five-time all-star and a great defender, and with the last pick, Isaiah Thomas, who, if he didn't get injured in the 2017 playoffs, would probably still be in MVP talks, even though he's only 5'8". And in my opinion, the biggest steal in this draft is Kawhi Leonard, who was picked by the Pacers right outside of the lottery, but then was traded to the Spurs for George Hill because the Pacers needed more help at the point guard position because they were contending at the time. And as of right now, he is a two-time champion, and two-time Finals MVP, two-time DPOI, and might win MVP in the near future, which is a Hall of Fame type of resume if he retires today. Next up, we got the 2012 NBA draft, and the steal in this draft, in my opinion, is Chris Middleton by the Pistons in the second round. With the 39th pick in the draft, Chris Middleton, as of right now, is a two-time All-Star and a great shooter and a good defender, and arguably a top 7 or a top 5 small forward in the NBA. Going to the NBA draft, he was being compared to Gordon Hayward, which is an okay comparison because both of them are good scoring small forwards. But in my opinion, Chris Middleton is arguably better player than Gordon Hayward. Honorable mention is Draymond Green, who was a 35th pick in this draft, and it's an amazing great defender, 1 DPOI. As a guy that you would rather have on your team than go against, but Draymond Green had a down season this year, which is the reason I didn't put him. Next up, we've got the 2013 NBA draft, and the steal in this draft is arguably the best player in the NBA, which is Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is the 15th pick, which is right outside of the lottery by the Bucks, and it's all defensive NBA player, and it's most likely is going to be a two-time MVP when the season is over. And his only weakness is that he can't shoot the three-point shot that well, and if he does get that three-point shot, it's gonna be crazy. Honorable mention goes to Rudy Gobert, who is a two-time DPOI and a one-time All-Star this year. Next up, we got the 2014 NBA draft, and the steal with this draft is Nikola Jokic, who was the 41st pick in the second round, and it was a drafting dash. Leading up to the draft, Nikola Jokic was being compared to Nikola Vucevic, who at the time was a mediocre NBA player with averages of 14.2 points per game on okay efficiency, and right now is a one-time All-Star. But Nikola Jokic is an MVP caliber player and might win an MVP in the next 1 to 7 years, and has led the Nuggets to the second seed 2 times in a row and has lost 50 points, which could be a game changer or it could hinder his progression. Next up, we got the 2015 NBA draft, and the steal in this draft is Montrezl Harrell, drafted with the 32nd pick in the NBA draft by the Houston Rockets. In his first couple of years, he really didn't do that much, but in his second year with the Clippers, he played the whole season and was a great defender and is a DPOI caliber player and might win in the near future, and helped the Clippers take 2 games from the Warriors with KD. And now since the Clippers got Kawhi and Paul George, they're one of the best teams in the league and might win the championship this year with the help of Montrezl Harrell. But there's one thing I have to say, Montrezl Harrell is a little bit undersized for the center position. He's 6'8", I'm pretty sure. Next up, we got the 2016 NBA draft, and we got Pascal Siakam, who was picked by the Raptors with a 27th overall pick last year. He won Most Improved Player of the Year and helped the Raptors win their first championship, and was arguably the second player on the Raptors. The only other player you could argue was better than him was Kyle Lowry. Since Kawhi left Pascal Siakam, he became a one-time All-Star and is now the best player on the Raptors, who are the second seed without Kawhi, and has proven himself to be a star in the NBA. Next up, we got the 2017 NBA draft, and the steal in this draft is Donovan Mitchell, who was picked by the Nuggets, then traded to the Jazz in draft day. At the 13th pick, his comparison leading up to the draft was Norman Powell, which makes sense because both of them are really athletic two guards and are a little undersized, but his rookie year, Donovan Mitchell exceeded all expectations and averaged 20 points per game on good efficiency and won the dunk contest. He was second in the Rookie of the Year voting only behind Ben Simmons, and led the Jazz to a first-round victory against OKC. In his second year, he started up a little slow, then stepped it up by the end, and then started he became a first-time All-Star and has proven to be a star. Honorable mention goes to Bam Adebayo, who was a 14th pick, excellent player, and John Collins, who was the 19th pick and very underrated. He averages 20 points per game and 10 rebounds on the Hawks. Alright, now we're at the 2018-2019 NBA draft, where I'm going to say who's looking like a steal right now and who I think is going to be a steal in the future. Starting off with 2018, and the players that are looking like the biggest steals are Devontae Graham, who is a good scorer, and Mitchell Robinson, who is an amazing defender. Both picked early in the second round. And my prediction for who has a chance of being a steal is Michael Porter Jr. if he recovers correctly from his back injury, which is a big if because back injuries are a big thing. He could be an amazing player and probably a star at the 14th pick, which is crazy. And my other pick for who has a chance to be a steal is the last pick in the draft, which is Kostas Antetokounmpo, just because he's the brother of Giannis, who is an MVP. That's really like the only reason. He has a lot of potential. And now, last but not least, we got the 2019 NBA draft, and the players that are looking like steals are Tyler Hero and Brandon Clark, Eric Pascal, who could be the next Draymond Green for the Warriors. And my predictions to be the steals are Bobo, who can be star even though he was drafted in the second round. Alright, and that's it for these biggest steals of the 2010s. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this.